Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud, and this is Champs vs. Stars 2, Episode 4 recap, Face Off, Gloves On. It might as well be called Face Down, Ass Up for all I care. I don't know. No, I actually like this episode, but at the same time, kind of lackluster in the missions because, for example, spoiler alert, there's a lot of people who just don't score, and then we don't actually have an elimination. Someone is gone at the end of this episode, but it's not a technical elimination, where they got to compete against someone else. It's an injury. So, to keep it fresh for myself, because I record these things by myself now, I decided to write down everybody on their own little card, and I'm just going to draw from a hat, basically, and then discuss them and what they contribute to the episode. All right, here we go. Devin from the red team. He gets 0 points, but I said that before, and almost no one scores except for Casper. So yeah, there you go. But what else does Devin do? He actually has this brilliant idea of he gets everybody off sides. He kind of psychs out kicking it and stops, and then people go off, and then I think the whistle's blown at them or whatever. I don't know. It's very Aaron Rodgers of him, and it's great. So once everyone's kind of slowly, sheepishly walking back to the line, that's when Devin kicks it, and I like the move. I think it's pretty cool. It would have been better if it would have worked, but that's fine. And that's Devin. That's everything I remember from the episode that he's involved in. Next, we have Lil Mama from the red team as well, and she gets 0 points. And, really, I don't remember anything else that happens with her. Not a damn thing. Next, we have Jose from the red team. During the mission, he gets 0 points. And really, I don't remember too much. Everyone got knocked down. That's all I got to say about that. Next, we have Casper from the blue team. Actually, you know what? When it comes to the mission, he's the only guy who scores a point. And in fact, that makes the blue team, his team, win the mission. Outside of the mission itself, he's also aligned with Louise and Booby. And they're making moves. They are working together. Casper is actually almost creating a false campaign, where he's like, oh, I'm going to vote for myself no matter what. And Wes is so confident that Casper is going to go through with his stupid-ass plan that I think he burns his vote during the nominations for, was it Casper himself? I don't remember. I don't know. It was a weird move, but it didn't matter. With Casper, he actually was playing a certain role of being the hothead, oh, I'm gonna vote for myself, But when really he was working with Louise and Booby, and they were gonna put in Louise as the prime MVP candidate. Next, we have Shane from the red team, 0 points in the mission, and honestly, I don't remember too much out of that. That's all. Next, we have Brooke Hogan from the red team. She does not participate in the mission. That was very disappointing. Speaking of which, quickly, Brooke Hogan loves her dad. It's almost obvious. She mentions him every episode, and even in this episode, she's talking to him on on the phone. And CT shows up, and yeah, they're both just talking about Brooke, and she's a lovely girl and shit. And then Hulk Hogan is even saying how maybe she should cheat just to get ahead and shit. And CT's like, I said the exact same thing and stuff like that. But Brooke Hogan loves her father and actually grows quite attached to CT. And kind of puts him in that role. So much so that when she refuses to do the mission, and then during the LVP discussion, CT is like, you know what? You disappoint me. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. And he walks away. And he's like, I fucking hate quitters and shit like that. Maybe he was mad. I don't know. But either way, Brooke was crying. CT comes back. And he says, hey, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have been so fucking harsh. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's just this huge reveal into Brooke. She's got a daddy complex of some sort. She did volunteer to go to LVP because she's like, I'm not going to participate in this mission where... did I even explain any of that? I don't think I did. Where the mission was like a mix of kickball, you kick it, and then, people have these giant yoga balls, if you will, knocking each other around and shit. Very physical, very unisex. But yeah, Brooke was intimidated by what she saw. Next, we have Tony from the blue team. He gets 0 points in the mission. And I don't remember anything else about him in this episode. Next, we have Kayla from the red team. She has 0 points from the mission. The only thing I've written down is that the moment when Louise gets to trade a character, or a player of her own teammate with an opponent teammate, Kayla, in a last ditch effort to try and be relevant, she's like, oh my god, why is she staring at me, guys? Oh my god. When really, no, Louise doesn't choose Kayla. She chooses fucking Ashley Mitchell. So I don't know, that was annoying. I'm like, oh god, I kind of forget that Kayla's on this show. I forget that Jose's on this show, Sometimes I forget that Drake's on this show, because they just don't contribute anything outside of participation. So yeah, that's all I have to say about Kayla. Next, we have Ashley Mitchell. Again, Kayla was like, oh my god, they want to trade me for fucking Tori. Oh my god, Louise, you bitch. But no, Louise chooses Ashley Mitchell from the red team to go onto the blue team, replace Tori. Ashley Mitchell during the mission didn't get any points either. But she was also kind of knocked down, and like she thought she broke her nose and shit, but turns out she was just playing it up to kind of intimidate the blue team. But, little did she know it was actually going to intimidate Brooke Hogan, her own teammate. So, gets 0 points, but this is the thing. She is ultimately chosen by Louise, the blue team MVP, given the power play of trades Ashley Mitchell for Tori. That was the big shocking thing at the end of the episode. And established subtly at the beginning of the episode, it's like Wes and Tori, and Ashley Mitchell shows up, and Tori's like, oh, if you're red, you're dead. And Ashley Mitchell is like, I've been flabbergasted by your performance lately and shit like that. I don't know. It's very light jabbing at each other, subtle jabs at each other, like, how women do. I don't know. I don't want to go down that road. I'm not trying to say every woman is like that, but god damn it, is it prevalent. So yeah, traded by Louise with Tori, and Ashley Mitchell, I would say, has a classic breakdown. And, this happened on Champs versus Pros. This happened on Champs versus Stars, although that was way more, that was valid. That was a fucking life or death situation. It was a family tragedy. I don't know. This was crazy. It caught me by surprise because I guess the fact that the previous episode, when Hennessy left, she was this huge drama queen, camera hog, whatever you want to call her. There's one person like that every season, right? But no, not this time. As soon as Hennessy is gone, Ashley Mitchell steps up and takes that spot. Yeah, it was a sort of a annoying reminder of what Ashley Mitchell could be. But once traded to the blue team, she's like, okay, I'm guessing I'm going to be put into every single elimination, which happened to her the first season, Champs versus Pros, although she technically volunteered every single time. But I don't know. Overall, I'm saying is that Ashley Mitchell is like having this situation where it's not comfortable to watch. She's like, oh my god, and she's like crying. She's saying, fuck you, Louise, fuck you, bitch. And then she's saying like how she's gonna throw every single mission. It's kind of Wes Ruins era-esque. But yeah, a lot of shit happened with Ashley Mitchell all of a sudden. She definitely reminded me that she's on the goddamn show. Next we have Anissa from the blue team. She had, on her mission, she got 0 points. And I gotta say this. During the mission, she gets once again, another leg injury. This woman has done probably more seasons than Johnny Bananas himself. Yet lately, she's been having a lot of fucking leg injuries. What was it? Vendettas or Dirty 30? Which one was it? I don't know. Her leg got twisted. God damn it, which one was it? It was Dirty 30. Yeah, it was. Even though she was able to recover and shit, but still, like, that just means her legs are blown, man. I don't know. I don't know. I feel bad. I feel sorry because ultimately I feel like I have weak ass ankles. Like, I don't know. I twisted that shit when I was like in high school, senior year, something like that. And they just never have been the same since, you know. I just feel like it's a boxer's chin, you know. Like once they're able to get knocked out, they're able to get knocked out way more easier afterwards. So, I don't know. I feel a little bit bad about that with Aneesa, but at the same time, I don't really care for her. I really haven't. Like I've watched every season since she started, for sure. And yeah, I don't get it, and I don't agree with it that she keeps on coming back. But yeah, she's gone once again. For me, as a producer, I'd be like, listen, man, she gets injured a lot. Is it even worth paying her to show up nowadays? I don't know. Next, we have Salida from the red team. Mission. She kicks it, but it doesn't go past 10 yards, and that was the big, you know, qualifying thing about the kicks. So she gets 0 points. She doesn't even get to like grab the ball and try and like dodge and weave and try and get to the end zone, you know. She was never given that chance. But later on in the episode, Miz is like, hey, you have immunity because CT gave you that previous episode. But guess what? It's invalid because Aneesa is gone. So it's like a scare and then instant relief, like icy hot. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, they're like, Salida, it doesn't matter. You're not safe because it never mattered. Aneesa's out. So yeah, there you go. Salida is still here and Aneesa's gone. Next we have Booby from the blue team. Gets 0 points in the mission. But the only cool thing about Booby this episode in particular, and it's been established, is that he's talking alliance shit with Louise and Casper. That is awesome. And he's also saying like, hey man, they're the villains. Like they're the ones that are actually like throwing out these radical ideas. I'm just kind of following through with it. I'm just taking orders. I don't know. He's trying to say like they're a bigger target than me because it's their idea. Next, we have Louise Hazel. Speak of the devil. From the blue team, she gets 0 points in the mission. But immediately afterwards, her and Wes have this little hurdle race. They have like 2 hurdles up or whatever. And Wes is playing dumb or playing unathletic, where he's like, he purposefully trips over the first hurdle like really bad, you know. He's like, I'm trying to mimic a bad hurdleist or whatever. And then so they race. Wes beats Louise, and then Wes is like, all right, let's cut the crap. I run 10 miles a day or whatever, and I want to be your ride or die, or you want to be my whatever. Like we're gonna be in this together. And immediately Louise is like, oh Wesley baby, no. Like this is the moment when Wes should realize that he has invested poorly into the wrong person. I mean, well, I don't know, wisely, because Louise is good at this, but it's just not going to work out. She's not going to work with you, Wes. She is going to work for the stars. You know, she's a company person, really. She is totally dedicated to the cause that is stars. The other thing that's cool is that Louise, again, is having these talks with Casper and Booby. I'm not really sure. I think Casper said, I'm going to try and campaign really hard for myself, but really it's going to be Louise as MVP, which makes sense totally. And then Louise Hazel, she's, you know, when she has MVP status, she trades Tori, who has not been performing at her peak, with Ashley Mitchell, who excels. But yeah, once she chooses Ashley Mitchell, Tori's happy. But Ashley Mitchell, oh my god, instantly pissed. She doesn't want to hug Tori. She doesn't want to acknowledge anybody really. She starts bitching out like fucking Wes and saying like, "Oh, you're a goddamn bitch because Louise and Casper are running the show, y'all," and shit like that. Yeah, it's all crazy and shit. All right, next card is CT from the red team. He gets 0 missions, but he does injure Anissa. That's pretty crazy. Before that, though, during the episode, that he has that conversation, a little bit of a conversation with Brooke and her father, Hulk Hogan. It's funny because I always kind of thought, as soon as I was reintroduced to WWE, professional wrestling, I was thinking like, God damn it, who would be a great wrestler? CT. He's got the character, he's got the body, like he's bigger, way bigger than The Miz physically, right? And The Miz started off as a challenger. He was a 2-time champion of the challenge, and he went into the WWE, and Vince took a shine to him. CT is also a 2-time champion, and I think that if Brooke Hogan, accepts CT's apology this episode and talks to her dad, Hulk Hogan, and Hulk Hogan talks to his friend Vince McMahon, the president of the WWE, CT will have a fucking career in the WWE as a wrestler. Like, I swear to God, like, that would totally work. Like, that's totally an avenue in which CT can excel in that area. He's got a lot of charm and shit like that, and great athleticism. But let's see here. I did say that he made Brooke cry. He did come back and apologize. Brooke really is like seeing CT as like a father figure, and then someone else said they're like, because he is a father. And yeah, CT's gone through a lot of changes, and yeah, he does act kind of fatherly now. Yeah. He's like, I got the fucking dad bod and shit, and I also act like a father. All right, next we have Tori from the blue team. Gets 0 points during the mission. I do remember at the very beginning of the episode when she was hanging out with Wes, Ashley Mitchell shows up and says like, "Oh my God, like you haven't been performing the greatest. I've actually been kind of flabbergasted at the fact that you're doing so bad, because Tori usually does really well. And yeah, she's been having a hard time. So when it comes down to the end of the episode, when Louise, MVP, gets to make a trade, she does trade out Tori. That's got to be a blow to the ego, but it does make sense. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I do remember, I would have said, if I was Louise, I would want another star on the team. And I do remember Miz saying, listen, it could be a guy for a girl, or a girl for a guy, or a girl for a girl, or a guy for a guy. It could be any combination trade. And Louise chose Ashley Mitchell. So does she choose Ashley Mitchell over Brooke, let's say? Although, I don't know, Brooke did quit and shit. Overall, she made the better decision, I guess. I don't know. I don't question her anymore. You know what I mean? Like, Wes has no grasp on her. Neither do I. She's going rogue. She's doing her own thing. She's fucking returned from the very first season ever, Champs vs. Pros, with even more power and more insight into how this shit gets done. I'm so glad that she's here. Anyways, next we have Wes from the blue team. In the mission, he got the second closest to actually scoring points. I know that sounds like, well, who gives a shit? He got 0 points as well. Well, he got the closest. He did a lot of fucking dodging and weaving and shit like that. It was great. I loved it. And then he does have that moment after the mission where he out-hurdles Louise and then asks for MVP, but ultimately will get turned down, and that's the only thing that sucks. I think that Wes is being entertaining this season, but the storyline is ultimately him not being able to really control Louise. Like he wants to work with her, but she's not working with him at all. She's actually just always going back on her word with him. And I just feel like he's going to have to make a different approach, do something radically different at this point. So finally, we have Drake from the blue team. Got 0 points in the mission, and the only thing I have written down is that he ate steak. That was actually the beginning of the episode where Shane is like, "Are you trying to put on weight, you fat fuck?" Well, no, he doesn't say that, but he might as well have said something like that because Shane is just, I don't know, he's so obsessed with being bitchy and shit, but he's like, "Hey, are you trying to put on weight?" And Drake is like, "No, man, Drake likes steak." And there you go. There you have it. Those are all the players on this episode. And, join us next week. Anissa will not be on there. And we'll see what happens next time. Maybe I'll do this randomly drawn player analysis next week as well. I don't know. Who knows? Like, subscribe, comment. This was Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud.